Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Senator, Grinder, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some whiskey, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 7th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to do our first blind tasting tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. Grinder will also reveal what cigar we smoked, and we'll chat about Rooster's transformation into a connoisseur of vintage Cubans, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Redbreast 12-year aged Irish whiskey with our cigar of unknown origin. Our first blind cigar provided by Grinder, and he won't even tell us if it's Cuban or non-Cuban, apparently. I'm trying to make it difficult on us. What will you tell us about this stick, Grinder?
I'll tell you its size.
Okay.
6x52.
6x52. I guess that's a Toro, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are you guys getting on the nose?
Not much at all.
New world, old world,
New world.
new world.
Yeah.
I'm
Mike,
feeling-
I can't tell by
I get a little
that nose.
sweetness on the wrapper.
I am too.
On the nose.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I feel like it's very...
This is not a Maduro wrapper, right? Does it look like a Maduro? It's dark.
I feel like there's some age on the tobacco.
It's
on
a
the-
beautiful
on the
cigar.
nose. It smells
Very nice.
great.
Yeah.
Feels
Stuff.
great.
It
It
could
feels
be a
great in the hand.
Could be a Maduro. It could be a Connecticut broadleaf. It's sort of hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really nice construction.
Yeah.
It's a well-made
The
cigar.
construction is like perfect.
Yeah.
Is
it's
it
really
a
nice.
regular production cigar, not like a custom roll?
Or like a limited.
Because if it's a custom roll, we would have no clue. We would have no idea what that is.
It's something that we can buy that is regularly produced.
You can buy it. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And I wouldn't. Yeah. You may have smoked it. You may not have.
All right, let's cut it. Let's see what we got on the cold draw here of this blind cigar here. I will say, guys, and I mentioned this before we went on, but I like the fact that I'm not judging this on what my eye is seeing on the label. A lot of times when I look at a cigar, like anything else, I guess, a scotch, a bottle of wine, really, too. I'm not a connoisseur like Senator, but I'm always judging it based on the label. And I like that tonight we're just basing it on flavor.
Completely agree.
Cold draw is pretty tasty, actually. Definitely taste some aging. Definitely some aging.
The draw is very nice, very loose. My guess from this is that it's going to be a high smoke output cigar based on the build and the draw.
I get a little cedar and hay on the cold draw.
Yeah.
No formaldehyde or
No petrichor, or
Petrichor.
sawdust.
No petrichor.
no
tonight.
petrichor.
No. All right, boys, let's light it up.
How about moss? No moss?
No moss.
No moss. No moss, please.
Uno
no
mas.
moss? All right, we're going to light it up. 6x52. Dark, oily wrapper.
I'll say this on the light.
Sweet.
My guess is already New World.
Total agreement.
It's good.
Really nice on the light.
Get some sweetness on the light.
I think whoever said cedar, I get it on the light.
Yeah, this is really nice. It feels good in the hand.
What's the difference between New World and Old World? Just Cuba versus non-Cuba?
Yeah. And that's how I kind of label it too when I, do the descriptions on the episode, or New World or Cuban, I guess.
Like in wine, New World being the U.S. and Old World being everywhere outside of it.
I think we should do a serious wine podcast.
Yeah, I
don't
am
know enough.
I'm an amateur.
So am I. I'd like
Yeah.
to learn more.
Yeah, I'd like to learn some too. And I
It'd
know
be
that
really interesting.
That should be a different podcast. You got the wine spectator, cigar aficionado, whiskey advocate,
the wine lizards,
the wine lizard,
The
hosted by Bam
the
Bam.
wine gizzards.
the shower wine lizards hosted by Puba.
Oh man, when he said that, that killed me, man.
It's like Cosmo Kramer cooking in his bathtub.
Poopa drinks Oberon in the Oberon cab in the shower.
That's such a fraternity move. Like,
That's amazing.
like definitely. Okay, you bring your shower caddy with like a bush light in the corner of it.
What's his other line? It delivers 60% all the time.
Yeah, that's from Anchorman.
What the fuck does that
That's
mean?
an Anchorman quote.
From the movie.
Yeah. Will Ferrell. So bright white ash on this. I'm definitely saying New World.
What does that mean when you get bright white ash on a cigar, as opposed to like a charcoal gray or, dark?
It's a great question because I think most of us prefer that white ash. You get that on a Padron. We're getting that on this
Millennium.
Millennium,
no
for
doubt.
sure.
Well, no doubt.
Some Cubans you get that, and then others you don't. And my preference would always be to have a bright white ash, but I'm not really sure why some cigars never really achieve that.
Yeah, you don't normally see them on Cubans, the white ash.
You
I
do
think.
get it on the Maduro 1, though, a white ash.
And I've occasionally on certain D4s had
Yes,
that.
that's
Most no, but certain D4s.
From time to time.
But like you said, almost all Padrones, you get that really rich ash.
That's right.
Definitely a distinctive taste.
You ever had this before?
I have not had this before,
Oh, you haven't?
Oh, boy.
but you guys may have.
So this is new for you too. I didn't know that.
It is new for me.
This is part of it.
That's my
I
the
know
only
this-
other piece of information
got
I'm
it.
giving.
It's part of a JR 5-pack.
Would you share the price point on this?
Yeah, how much is this grinder? Do you know?
Ballpark?
$14.
Okay.
Oh, it's a non-box pressed exclusivo. Right?
Please don't offend.
I'm
the
getting-
Padron
Say what?
family.
I'm getting a little Tatuaje vibe here.
That's so funny.
Oh,
to say
that's
that.
a-
Same.
I'm
That's
definitely getting a Tatuaje
Very
vibe.
good.
Grinder gave you that look. You
No, I
are
didn't.
right.
Got some tat.
I'm feeling like it's definitely got that vibe. I don't know if I would say this
We'll
is
know when you get to the last third
Tatuaje.
whether it's a tattooage or not.
That's a subtle rooster dig.
You know, it could be a Liga Privada.
Pagoda's
It
not
very
here,
well
so I
could
got to
be.
do the shank.
Not the 9, but the other. There's another one.
The 52.
Do you
Yes.
do you think this is dark enough?
For the 52, yeah.
I mean, Liga's they're Maduro
Not-
wrappers, right?
Not all of them. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
Grinder said he has not had this, so he's had a lot of Liga.
Mm.
All right, so I'm going to go out on a limb and rule out Plasencia.
Mm.
The room is quiet.
That I mean, you put one and one together to get two. It's-
Laser
Do you need some applause?
laser beams are coming out of Grinder's eyes right
So,
now.
Let's immediately rule out Padron, and I think Davidoff. Right?
It's not a Padron, not a Davidoff.
I'm not getting a ton of flavor,
No, it's weird.
but it's like
good, though.
The smoke is very smooth in my mouth. It's like coating my mouth, like we've talked about with some other sticks. Like it's good, but there's just not a lot there yet.
It's like sweet and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
You get the sweet notes in the beginning, and then kind of like the retrohale has spice in it.
I get the exact same.
The retrohale is very spicy. I'm gonna say it's not a Fuente.
Unlikely. Could be a Liga. Oh, I'm sorry, a Gloria. Not the 5. The one up above it was at a 7. I think Tatuaje is a pretty good guess, man.
I agree. That's the only thing that's sticking out to me right now is Tatuaje.
It feels really good. I keep saying it, but it feels really good in your hand. It almost has like a Churchill vibe, the way it's weighted.
Can we get away
Size.
with just guessing the maker and not the actual stick that they make?
We're gonna do our very best, I guess.
Sure, you can.
I think that's the best we're probably going to be able to do.
You
Probably.
do whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think
This
what
is-
else
the
at a
taste is-
$14 price
The
point.
taste
Though.
is very unique to me.
It is. It's different.
Where
Very unique.
where would you put the flavor profile on this? Medium? Medium to full?
Medium, but
Definitely
spice.
between medium and full.
Yeah,
The finish is nice actually on this, I
it
think.
is.
I get the sweetness on the finish. 100% for me.
Oh, see, I get the reverse.
Yeah,
I get the reverse.
No.
Sweet then
Sweet
spice.
then
Sweetness
spice.
in the
Same.
beginning.
For me, I get
spice on the
spiced and sweet.
It's hit me a little bit in the, it's hit me in a little bit in the back of the throat with the spice after.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting it right in the front. I'm weird tonight.
I'm getting the back of my.
It's not tonight.
Ignore me.
Bam, tell us about the Fundadorus-like notes you're getting out of this cigar.
No.
The spice that I'm getting is, I don't know, it feels apropos to a holiday cigar, maybe.
Definitely.
Holidays coming up, gearing up for that.
Now, we've talked in the past. I think that this is a cigar, and I mean, we're only about, 3/4 of an inch in, but this is a cigar I would give someone that
Yeah.
is over my house.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think this is going to kick their ass. I think they
agree.
could appreciate this, especially after a big meal. And I think with the wrapper, I think that this would do well outside around a fire or
I
something.
think it's safe to say it's a non-Cuban.
Yeah, I think that's a definite.
Is that the vote?
Yes.
That's definitely my vote.
Our vote.
Definitely.
I will confirm it's a non-Cuban.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. 20 to go.
What do you guys think of the blind taste? I mean, do you guys, because I will fully admit that I judge based on the brand and the band.
I like this idea because you guys always shit on me for smoking odd cigars, and
We will vindicate you tonight.
no, I don't know if you will.
We just try to help you, Grinder.
and
That's all.
because I've never actually smoked this cigar, so, but it's something that I was like, that's interesting. I want to try it, and here we are.
No, I have to say, I mean, whatever this is not something that I normally smoke. That's New World. And so if there were a band on this, it would absolutely color my
Absolutely.
impression of this
Yeah.
stick. So I'm very glad we're doing this
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a palate that is, refined, chiseled, polished over many, many, many cigars, and I think this is very different from what you guys traditionally smoke, in my opinion. It's different from what I smoke.
I have to say the burn is great. I'm
It
looking
is.
at everyone.
Straight.
The
It's
construction
razor sharp.
and the burn
Yeah.
is.
And you'll get a long ash on this guy, I think.
See, now it's changing. It's like,
I just went away from Tatuaje.
yeah, it's
A little
changing.
bit.
It's getting like,
I'm getting a weird, tiny bit of floral, weird
Yeah.
something.
the spice is migrating.
It's not. I like
away.
it. I don't not like it.
I'm going to throw out another brand as a possibility. Part of this is colored by I know that Grinder smokes this brand,
My father.
Avo.
This is not an
Oh.
album.
No, I've never seen an Avo that looks like
This
this.
But
is
they make some
heavy.
funky Avo.
This is heavy, not like an Avo, I think.
I mean, he smokes an Avo Domain, and that's not a light cigar by any means. It's
But
full
he
flavor.
has-
It's not a heavy cigar.
Not
not
heavy.
heavy.
That's
but
what I'm
it's
saying.
medium
Avo's
full.
not heavy.
I know
This
what
is
this
has strength, has body.
Do you think it has?
has character, has
I think it's medium full.
yeah. Plus, Grinder has had the Avos, I think, plenty of them.
But there's a lot of them. They make a lot
They
of
make
cigars.
a lot of stuff.
They
They
make a
do.
lot of
I
cigars.
mean, Avo is famous that they make so many cigars that here's a story. I don't know if you guys remember reading about this, how Avo came out with those lines. Each band had a different color. There was like a green
yeah.
one, a yellow
Orange.
one, orange. And then apparently some guys were really clever and figured out that Avo threw those bands on old Davidoffs that were not selling. And they just tried to market them as these new limited release, limited edition Avos, and they were really Davidoff cigars. So I feel like they come out with a lot of random stuff. So to me, it's possible.
This could be a Liga Privada 9.
Really?
That's fuller than this.
I mean, Aliga is.
It's also longer than this cigar, dimensionally.
What's the size on the Liga
It's a wild
52?
guess.
I think it's 5 and it's probably the size, but it's longer.
Okay.
6.5 maybe.
Yeah, that kills that.
He could also be trying to throw us.
No.
No,
Why would I?
Grinder's too honorable for that.
Let's talk about our Scotch pairing.
It's not a Scotch.
Coffee.
Oh,
That's
you're right.
It's a whiskey.
It's an Irish whiskey, right?
It's an Irish whiskey.
Redbreast 12.
Classic.
Discovered at one of our favorite posts.
It's a great whiskey. I love it.
It is. It's so reliable.
It's the best Scotch. In my opinion, it's the best Irish.
Very
hands
smooth.
down.
I would agree with that. And it drinks a lot like a Scotch. It's really smooth and refined in what you'd expect to get out of a Scotch. It's got really nice sweet notes and flavor to it. I first had this, I think, with most of you at one of the lounges that is owned by, an Irish guy who's very proud of Ireland and has a hell of a collection of different years of Redbreast. And I now drink this regularly after, just a few trips there. It's really, really tasty.
I think Puba introduced you guys
Yes,
to
he
this,
did.
right?
That's right. That's right.
So let me ask you this: if it's New World, what country or countries? That's tough.
I'm saying Dominican.
That's exactly where my head
Yeah,
is.
Dominican.
But I think the Connecticut broadleaf, I think that was a good call. I don't know if this is Maduro. I think it may be more Connecticut broadleaf.
I still stand by that. I would say
Or
Connecticut
Sumatra.
broadleaf and that this is Dominican.
So our Redbreast 12, I'm just reading a little bit about it. Combination, it's matured in a combination of bourbon and sherry casks, but it's very smooth.
Interesting.
I didn't know it
I
was
didn't know that either.
because I don't get the sherry thing.
Well, the sweetness in it.
Yeah, it's a little sweet.
But I didn't know that I don't know a whole lot about Irish whiskey. I didn't know that they use sherry casks for.
It's made from a mash of malted and unmalted barley, then triple distilled in copper pot stills. They're obviously saying it's a pot still whiskey, matured in the combo of American oak and sherry seasoned Spanish oak.
Pot still is a big thing. I mean, there are a lot of Caribbean rums that are pot still rums that are really good. Like a lot of Jamaican rums, even Appleton Estate, like they're pot still.
Do you know the difference between Irish and Scotch?
No idea.
Anyone?
Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
Isn't it made in a pot, the
compared
whiskey?
to-
Some Scotch are in pot stills. Yeah, absolutely. The primary difference is the blend of the malt. So some is unmalted, and in Irish it's a mixture of malted and unmalted. And Scotch, it's all malted.
What does it mean, malted?
It's when you get the mash and you put it in the big thing and you let it ferment, and it's like it smells like flowers in there and sweet and vanilla, and because it's unmalted, it's more refined and there's less
But what's the grain?
barley.
It's barley.
Yeah.
That's used for all whiskeys.
Yeah. Well, Scotch.
Scotch.
Whereas like bourbon's corn, right? Corn and am I wrong on that? Someone
Rye.
correct
You're
me.
right.
I
Corn.
think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for it to be called Scotch, it has to be from Scotland,
That's the primary. Yeah.
right?
And it's the different spelling of whiskey too, correct?
It
the
is. There's
E?
no E.
There's no E, yeah. So we're about an inch into this cigar. Inch and a half.
Yeah, the flavor hasn't changed much. I think it has gotten maybe a little smoother, a little less spice now. It's not that spice that we got hit with in the beginning. I don't taste that much. It's smoother.
It's rounded out a little
It's
bit.
rounded out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going back to my Tatuaje feeling. It really reminds me of those cigars.
Yeah, it hasn't changed much. I mean, to Rooster's point, the flavor profile hasn't changed a whole lot, and to me, it's still very Tatuaje. Like the smoke output on this has been fantastic.
Smoke output is really great. So you mentioned earlier, you're out, friends come over, holidays are coming up. You want to hand them a cigar. Why is this one you'd hand them, and how does that fit into that paradigm of a cigar you give a guest?
For me, I think that I would give this to a guest because I think it's approachable. I guess to use a word that Puba would use, approachable. I don't think that this is harsh. I don't think it kicks your ass with nicotine strength. I think it has enough flavor to stand up after a big meal or a nice, scotch or whiskey or whatever you may have. I think it kind of fits in the mold of what you're doing on a holiday usually. I think it kind of plugs right in there as far as a cigar pairing for that.
I don't know if I'd give this to a guest
Why?
or someone who is not as advanced smoker, because I get a little bitter taste. It's a little bitter to me in certain.
I'm not getting any of that.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
getting
not
any
getting
bitter
bitter.
notes.
It's actually,
no.
I have to say, it's enjoyable. I'm enjoying it.
But you know what I wondered? Now let me ask you this: with the bitterness, when was the last? Did you have dinner? Was it a while ago? Because I wonder if your stomach acid is playing with
Wow.
your perception of
Gizmo.
Dr. Gizmo over here.
PhD,
Wow.
LZD.
LZD.
Oh,
That was fun.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Rooster's been buying some really unbelievable aged Cuban cigars, and Puba sent out on the group text the other day. He sent out the cigar encyclopedia written by Rooster, LZD.
Z lowercase.
Yeah,
Post,
lowercase.
It was post-revolution, Havana.
He got his lizard doctorate. He did.
He got his doctorate in lizarding.
So, am I accurate on your food?
I mean, how many hours ago? It was too long ago, I think.
So that
Probably
could
4
be-
hours ago.
That could be what it is. Because I find it, even cigars that I love, if I don't eat enough, if I smoke a strong cigar, it just tastes a little funky to me, a little bitter.
Yeah. Yeah, today was a late lunch. What do you call a late lunch? Early dinner? A dinner?
Supper.
Supper?
Mm-hmm. First supper. Rooster, what's that other cigar line that Liga makes? It's got a blue label.
Norteño.
No, they have it at the old.
Undercrown?
Yeah,
So Undercrown was a
I'm getting a little
Undercrown
bit-
was made because in the factory, Liga started taking off. The number 9 started taking off, and all the guys were smoking when they're rolling these cigars. They're smoking all the inventory, so they blended a new cigar to give to the people who work in the factory, and that cigar was also phenomenal. So they're like, we got to market this shit too, and then they started pumping that out. And
I used to smoke that. I'm getting that in this a little bit.
Which one did you smoke?
Foundation.
Oh, I don't remember.
But
But
you had
the-
any foundation sticks?
I
I had
I
one.
have.
Yeah, good. That's a good
have.
analogy for this particular cigar. Yeah, interesting.
It's got very similar flavors to when I had that foundation stick.
Do you have the Tabernacle? Because that's a little bit of what this reminds me of. It's a dark wrapper like this, large ring gauge.
It was a large ring gauge. It had like a bluish band on it, from what I
Oh,
remember.
that's the Guguense. That you know who smokes that? Pagoda, with the
Oh,
blue
boy.
band on it. The blue band is the Guguense. There's a red band that's the Wise Man Maduro. The black band is
I
the
think I've had
Tabernacle.
the Wise Men. That kind of rings a bell.
I had a phase where I was smoking those, and then I fell out of love with that cigar.
I used to smoke a lot of the Drew Estate Liga, the Undercrowns. I used to smoke a lot of the Sun Growns. Because they
Ooh,
make
I
they
never
make a
liked them.
shade, the Sun Grown and the Maduro.
I
And
never
then
liked them.
that's what I was smoking when I met Senator at the lounge. And then he turned me on to the Exclusivo.
You
as-
quickly got
as
off those.
well documented. I
the
haven't smoked
Drew
one since.
Estate Connecticut shade, in my opinion, is one of the best Connecticut shades.
That's the one with like the silver white label on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The cigar
Like
is
a-
getting flatter now. Have you noticed that?
For me, it's a little
It is.
harsher now.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit less
as
oomph
smooth.
to it.
Yeah.
The smoke output is like
The spice is almost gone.
proliferous.
It is
Yeah.
It's getting cloudy in here
phenomenal smoke.
with
out.
just it's not even a full lizard corium. Well, actually technically it probably is a quorum.
It is. Lizard Quorum is 5, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
we
there you
call
go.
it corium in this
Corium.
room.
Yeah.
I mean, technically 4.
Yeah. Is it half? Oh, 4
It's
is
a
4 is
majority.
more than yeah. Do we know that? Do we know do we have the origin story of what a quorum is?
Why don't we let Bam define a quorum for us?
No
Well,
comment.
The original quorum.
Well, explain. So what happened? So you said,
I don't know.
were you typing it on the fly or something?
No, I was using Siri,
Siri.
Okay, so Siri sent.
and it came out as
a word.
as corium, and Senator will never let it go.
It's not just Senator Bam.
We all say it.
You know what? I'm quietly angry about it, but you motherfuckers.
The best part was that I was, of course, first to give you shit for it. But my favorite was Grinder's response, who then goes into like the etymology of
course.
quorum, and he goes Latin for, and he starts explaining like the entire.
Yeah, and for those of you that are listening, this is the academic corner over here. Don't ever type a word wrong.
Well, the good thing about you, Bam, is you never type a word. It's always
always Siri.
Siri.
Yeah.
Blame it on Siri.
I'm
It's
always
not your fault.
I'm always driving. Can I say? I'm in the camp of La Gloria. It could be number 6. I'm thinking possibly.
Yeah, I haven't had that many La Glorias.
So, like,
the non-Cuban La Glorias.
the traditional Ligorias,
Undercrown.
don't you think this is a little too? It's not the girth. The ring gauge is a little too small.
The
for a
6
Liguria?
is a little skinnier than the R, the series R. This is, I think, the series number 6.
Okay, is it natural or Maduro then?
Maduro.
It's definitely dark. There's no doubt about
It's
that.
dark.
I'm
I don't think
still
it's Maduro.
I'm still in the Connecticut broadleaf or Sumatra camp here. Which again leads me to Tatuaje because that's a pretty common,
Any La Flor Dominicana cigars that mimic this?
Oh, that's
I haven't had any of
La
those.
Flor Dominicana.
I haven't had.
Is that
many
the
at all.
guy in
been
the ads?
years.
He's always on the horse with the
yeah,
hat
with his wife.
with the wife.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by those ads.
I used to love their cigars.
I think they make great sticks.
I used to smoke them a lot.
La Flor Dominicana?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What have you smoked of their stuff? I've only had one
The-
of their cigars.
The Limitada is excellent.
they made a like this really really thick Ligero cigar. They made this cigar called the Chisel.
Yes, that's a powerful stick.
They made a cigar one year.
Double
like,
Ligero.
Ligero. They made a cigar a couple of years ago.
Lejero? Okay.
It's a Ligero. They made a cigar a few years ago that was one of the oiliest. It was a TAA.
Stop
special.
using Siri.
Is that from the Vuelta a Bajo region?
Abajeo.
But
They also make that Andalusian Bull, which has been
Yeah,
a really
yeah, yeah,
popular cigar recently.
That
People were
cigar-
loving
It
that.
wasn't highly reviewed by Pagoda. I think Pagoda had one of those.
I
recently.
hate that
Remember
cigar. I hate that fucking cigar.
I see guys online that love it. I haven't had it.
I know.
I never
People
had
love it.
It was
I-
hard to get.
Really?
Because they won that. I think it was a CA
Ah.
number 1.
number one.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, one cigar of the year.
Wow.
It was a
But-
big cigar too.
But I like. Yeah, they made. So what I was saying is I think I actually told you to buy one of these boxes years ago. It was a TAA special. And it
Off
was-
the bull?
No, it was a Flor Dominicana, and it was a TA special, box press, soft box press, and it was one of the oiliest wrappers I've ever smoked, and it was so smooth. Now this is changing on me a little bit.
It's kind of back to a little bit more flavorful now for me.
I do think it's quite a different taste for me. This is not something that I encounter.
This is closest to the Foundation cigar that I've had.
So Foundation, tell me about Foundation. What is that?
Flavor wise, it kind of tastes like the Foundation.
So is
cigar.
Foundation where they make what kind of?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I think it's Dominican, but I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure. I was into it for like a brief moment, but
What are you into now?
oh, don't ask. Don't ask.
Let's go.
Anywhere from beads and up.
So
Stay out of my world.
kitty litter.
Kitty litter.
Yeah.
Kitty
Let's
litter.
go to. I'm fascinated by this because our friend Rooster here has gone on a what do you want to call it? A buying spree, a
Hunt.
hunt. He's a hunter gatherer in Rooster's Connoisseur Corner. Tell us some of the aged crazy Cubans you've been picking up because it's been, dude. It is like I think that we may need to have an episode of the pod that's an intervention.
Intervention. Yeah.
We may need to
we'll
do an
have
intervention
to try
episode.
some of those. Well, I think the Cuban cigars, in general, if they're not EL or certain regionals, you want those sticks to have some age on them because without some age, they're harsh, they're not ready. Unlike what we usually smoke, like the Padrones and Davidoffs, they're already aged. The tobaccos are aged. They're like at least 5 to 7 years of age on the tobacco before they roll them. But the Habanos usually don't have much age on them. So you have to let them sit for a while. So if you can pick up boxes that have like 5 years, a minimum of 5 years of age on them, it makes a huge difference. And if you have the capacity in your towers at home, you want to be able to buy a few boxes and let them age and let them sit for 5 years. God bless you. I don't. I want to get something that's aged, that, 5, 7, 10, 15 years of
So,
age on them.
Have you
It's
included this
incredible.
in your home insurance yet?
Good. That's a good question.
Good question.
I'm not kidding. It's like,
You're right.
You've got a
Call my wife
fortune.
right now.
Call the broker.
Upgrade.
Or Progressive.
Upgrade the policies.
So this has been something that I think I'm curious what the flick of the domino was for you with the aged Cubans, because it's really been a recent progression, and
I can tell you in one word.
Go ahead.
It's called the Remington.
Yeah.
As soon as you got the Remington, it's like, shelves are empty. Let's fill them up. What are you going to fill them up with? You're going to fill them up with like new boxes that you're going to let them sit for 5 years that you can't smoke them? Or are you going to buy something that's aged and you can smoke them and share them right away? So, and the beauty about, a lot of these aged sticks is that I'm getting more and more into skinnier, thinner ring gauge because there's so much flavor out of them. Like the LGC, we had the Metal Dior number 4.
Yeah. Great stick.
I think that was like a 36 ring gauge, and it had so much flavor, and that has become my favorite stick in that size, and I can't get enough of them.
Do they still make those?
Number 4 is still in production. The number 2 and the number 3 are not. The number 4 still is, but they're so hard to get. I guess they're so limited production of that particular stick, and then you want to be able to get something with age. So I got a box that's 2002,
Wow.
and 2011 and 2013.
Jeez, 2002.
2002.
Incredible.
How did you get that?
Yeah.
So I just got a couple boxes for a friend of mine, 16 years age, selection of Cubans in a nice presentation, and that was probably the most age I've ever seen on a cigar, personally, that I've ever held in my hand.
Did you try it?
No, I gave it as a gift to somebody.
Yeah. I mean, the cigars, when they have that much age on them,
Yeah,
they completely get balanced,
Yeah.
smooth. There's no rough edges. There's not, they're very floral, perfumey sticks.
some might argue it gets a little too cedary though, right? And some of the taste gets maybe too muted, right?
Maybe it's on certain sticks, but some Cubans, I think they age really well. Like the Fundadoras, the Vegas Robanas that we have had from, I think we had 2011s.
Yeah.
And we also have, I think I have a box from 2002 as well. I mean, you just can't beat them.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this, but right now, by the way,
Yeah.
this is like
As we're talking and I'm thinking about this cigar less, I'm just
Have to
kind of
admit,
going through it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
we're gonna be shocked.
Yeah, I think we're going to be surprised. To go back to your point, Grinder, about the selections that you bought. So you bought the Selection Robusto and you bought the 5-pack of the Selection Pyramids.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, for someone out there who either doesn't like Cubans, doesn't know Cubans, wants to venture in, it's a pretty reasonable, gamble on a box of 5 Robustos to try 5 different Habanos brands of Robustos or Pyramids and kind of get an
Right.
idea of that flavor profile. Obviously, they're aged, so to find those same cigars again, obviously you can find the Robustos, but you can't find them with that age.
what were they? They were Upman, Partagas, Cohiba,
Romeo,
and
was there a Bolivar in there?
no, Hoyo.
Hoyo, okay. So yeah, so you get 5 individual sticks in a wonderful
Yeah.
presentation. It's a great gift and good for if you want to try something aged. They're not that.
Well, I told the guy, I was like, you got to smoke these now. Like, don't sit them on.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
They're ready. They're they're in the barrel.
They're rooster approved.
It's interesting we're talking about aged sticks. You've heard of a brand called Rafael Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a box of the RGs, there's a line on it. It says, either smoke them now or after 1 year.
Oh,
Really?
I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I did not notice that.
Yeah.
I have a box of the little ones in my humidor.
Do you? The Panatellas?
Panatellas, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I have 2. Actually, I think I have 2 boxes.
That's a
of them.
great steak. You just got a box of those that are really old, Panatellas, fantastic smoke. So much flavor and still a good like half an hour smoke.
Grinder's now the connoisseur. I'm sorry, Gizmo.
I'm looking at you like, what?
Well, you're a connoisseur, of course.
So, because I'm so fascinated by this rooster, so obviously the Vegas Robania 2011, I think that was a mind blowing stick for everybody.
Yeah,
in
that
this
was
room that had
introduced
it.
to us by Puba. Who
Puba.
was the first one to get I don't know if he got a box of those or a 10-pack
No, I think he
Kinda
got singles.
singles, and he shared with us. And that, I mean, at that point, that was like the best cigar I think I've ever had.
Well, I think we all agreed that night it was one of the best Cuban at that time.
Yeah, is that a Lonsdale?
Yeah, it's a Lonsdale.
Lonsdale. So I mean that, with in that size, it's such an elegant smoke, so balanced yet complex, and it builds. It really picks up in flavor as you smoke that.
It's funny, that 11 Classico by Robania that we had, that was the first aged Cuban that I had of that level, and I'm still chasing that. I'm still chasing that high.
Well,
I mean, I have them. It was incredible, though.
I think that stick goes back to Rooster's point earlier about smaller ring gauge cigars. When Puba gave me one of those, I don't think I had a single Lonsdale in my humidor prior to Puba giving me that stick. And that's what really opened my eyes to what Rooster was saying, that these smaller ring gauge Cubans are fantastic smokes.
Unreal.
It is unreal.
I mean, it's. I think most Americans don't really kind of smoke that ring gauge,
Yeah.
and I think it's more of a European thing.
The most Cubans I smoke, Rooster, are Petit Coronas. I have 10 boxes of Boulevard Petit Coronas.
Yeah,
That's I have one sitting right next to me that I was smoking earlier,
yeah, it's a great size.
and I love that. I love that smaller gauge.
But you also smoke like the Lonsdales or Lanceros,
Yeah, but
Panatellas.
yeah.
I mean, when I saw that box of the La Glorias when it came in, I opened the box and I was like, the pictures don't do it justice. I was a little disappointed by looking at the ring size. I'm like, how could the cigar be any good?
Oh, look at that.
So this is
Wow.
I just pulled out a Monte
Especialis
Especial
number two.
Yeah, I mean this is a fantastic cigar. We should do it.
We'll do
episode of
this one next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got enough.
I don't actually.
Remember with Roosters,
One is all I need.
what's his is yours, and what's yours is his.
Mi casa es su casa.
All right.
Su casa is mi casa.
About
Actually, I want
halfway
to
through.
ask Grinder about the Monte Cristo Especialis number two.
Yes, sir.
What year
Rooster
is
wants
that
to know:
from?
should he buy 5 boxes?
This is
tonight?
a 19.
19.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I have a box coming.
of course.
'Cause somebody sent
2007.
me. I got a box of, I think it was a box of fundies from some guy in Hungary, or probably it was Germany. I don't remember. And he sent me a box. I mean, not a box, a single Monte Cristo Especialis number two.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that cigar was. I mean, I had heard about it, but I didn't really know if that's the size. And it's got a pigtail on it, I
Yep.
believe, right?
Yeah.
And he said this is from 1998.
Ooh.
And my goodness, the flavor on that stick, unbelievable.
So good.
It's awesome.
So to
Anyway.
your question, Giz, the flavor is there's like a thin layer of flavor in my mouth right now. It's like coating my palate pretty well. It's like silky smooth.
I think I'm enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it more now than I did when we lit it.
Because it's a tattoo.
Yeah, this is not a tattoo.
I don't know. I still think it could be. Call me crazy, but
La Flor Dominicana is my guess at the moment.
I feel like it's picked up in strength.
It
When
has.
this started, I would have said medium full, and
I
now
agree.
I feel like this is closer to a full bodied
I
cigar.
totally
which
agree.
is not like a tattoo.
No.
Tattoo normally kind of
Hit
you
you.
know, just-
Yeah.
it kind of fizzles off like the last third.
But I say that because, to Gizmo's point earlier of, would you give this cigar to guests? where this cigar is right now, I'm not sure that I would. This is a lot.
It's a complex.
lot of flavor
It's
in
pretty
this.
complex cigar.
I don't know that much complex. I just think it packs power.
Punch.
now.
Yeah, there's a punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavor hasn't changed that much. It's the
Right.
same notes, just in varying degrees. Initially there was a lot of spice. In the middle, it kind of was lacking, and now it's kind of picked up again.
I'm
We
trying to
haven't-
think of what other brands this could be.
So that's where I was going. We haven't mentioned a brand, and I'm just curious if we think this is even slightly a possibility. Is Rocky Patel at all possible?
Oh God, no! I hope not. Jeez, don't even say that.
You don't know how I came here to rock your world, did you?
Oh,
Oh, I bet he wants.
that would
He,
ruin my whole night.
he wants vindication tonight.
Rocky Patel.
Rocky Patel. I hope not.
Pagoda
Maybe
loves
it's Nish Patel.
Pagoda loves
The degenerate
ALRs.
brother.
Speaking of Pagoda, I think Pagoda would really like this stick.
I think you would.
I agree.
I think this is right up his alley.
I'm enjoying this more as
Put
a
a
smoker.
Cohiba band on it. Cohiba Robusto.
I'll tell you.
Cohiba
I tell
Toro.
you, this is a great cigar.
I think it's very good. And again, I have to say it again.
Grinder, it's let me tell you.
yeah,
Let me
let
tell
me
you.
tell you.
I'm so glad that it didn't have a band on it, because I don't think that I would be feeling like this, and that's my bias. But I think that's a really good aspect of this for me right now.
I'll be honest though, I'm not in love with the second half of this.
I think I'm enjoying it more than I was when we lit it.
You know what proper cigar etiquette is? One of the points. If you're smoking with somebody and who's smoking a different cigar that you're smoking, which is maybe a little bit inferior than what you're smoking,
You take the
you
band.
should take the band
Yeah.
off.
Band comes off.
Have you?
You don't subscribe to that, do you?
I think
I
that's
put another band on it.
that's a little presumptuous.
No. We should talk about this. Rooster's point is a good one in that if you walk in a number of cigar lounges, you will see several guys who, as soon as they take out a cigar they're going to smoke, they actually take the band off the cigar
That's
and
right.
cut it and light it.
That's right.
And I like it in theory because I think one of the things that's nice about cigars, there's this level playing field with cigars. You can be from any walk of life, you can be of any circumstance, and if you're sitting down with someone who enjoys cigars, you have an instant bond. You're all of a sudden one and the same.
It's true.
So I like that aspect about it, but it's hard for me because there are some cigars I love the artwork of the band. I like to admire the cigar in all of its glory, and
You like to
It's
show
hard for
off.
me.
You like to show off.
it's not showing off. It's just like, do you want to smoke here's an example. Do you want to smoke a Padron without the band, or do you want that Padron band on there that you're staring at that 80th as you're smoking?
I'll admit I like the band on.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
do.
Sometimes you take the band off and it's going to take the wrapper off.
That's what I was
because
gonna say.
As
Well,
you,
I-
as
on
you
a-
smoke that stick, the
On a
glue,
Cuban for sure. On
the
a
glue
Cuban for
kinda,
sure.
It has to kind of,
Not New Worlds though. Mostly Cubans react that way, don't they?
true, but the glue on it will melt as the cigar heats up, and it's easier for the band to come off.
I'm in your camp, Rooster. I mean, I always leave the band on because of that reason, and I'll take it off once it get once it heats up, and just because I can't stop fidgeting, so I'll take it off.
But to Bam Bam's point, I feel like with Cubans, whether philosophically you think you should take the band off every time you light up your cigar, or you should leave it on with a Cuban,
Never.
you can't possibly take that band off. It will tear those thin
Even
Cuban
at the
wrappers.
end, you can't take it off because you're like peeling like layers off it, like an onion.
Yep.
Literally.
And then you got a good Cuban. I mean, it's not a counterfeit, right? That's one way to tell.
Yeah, the Partagas. When you take off a Partagas band, if it comes off in one piece, that's when I get concerned. If it comes off in 4 different pieces,
Yeah.
it's okay. Now it's authentic.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it's real.
Good point.
But you know what's interesting about your point, Senator, is that I find when I see someone smoking a cigar and I know what it is, maybe to counter your point, I think it opens up a little bit of a conversation. And it brings me back to when I met Pagoda, let's say, and he was smoking something. I said, hey, I see what you're smoking. I think you may like this Padron that I gave him. And that really kind of
Is that
started
how
that journey.
is that how the senator turned you to Padrones?
Yeah, I mean, he saw what I bought.
He
I
took-
walked upstairs
he
with
took
$200
pity on
of
you.
cigars, and he said, "Hey, dude, stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Try this. Take those back if you like it." And that's exactly what I did. And it was just because it knocked my socks off. And I wasn't a guy who knew one band from another. I just was smoking cigars because it relaxed me. So,
Wait, I want to know, what did you get with the $200 when you got what cigars?
well, the tobacconist that I had purchased it from kind of walked through the humidor with me.
I mean,
and
he is a
kinda-
true tobacconist.
and kind of put a bunch of random cigars in my
Did you
tray.
ask him to recommend anything?
Yeah, I asked him for help. Yeah, because it was
So
my
he
first.
chose those sticks.
Yeah,
for
he
you.
helped me choose them. Yeah.
And if you saw those sticks that I did that day, Rooster, you would not call him a tobacconist.
So that's what I want to know. What did he recommend, or what did he ask you, like how long you've been smoking cigars and what's your flavor profile?
Definitely, and he knew that because I was just joining the lounge, so I had the credit. I credit that I had a burn, and I kind of told him what I was smoking, which was pretty amateur, low level stuff in my mind. Now, what I think about what I was smoking, it was not great stuff, and not from a pricing standpoint. I mean, I was smoking expensive stuff that I would say is not great value, cigars, and I think that, what he put in my tray was
Amateur bullshit.
amateur bullshit.
Let me guess,
I look at it
Avo?
now. No, it wasn't even Avo. There was a couple. I think there was a
Tatuajes?
Camacho in there. There was
Camacho.
a Tatuaje, but yeah, there was. It was not good.
Camacho, and what else?
There was some of the Hemingways were in there.
Who, like the art?
Some Nat Shermans. Some Nat
Fuente
Shermans.
Hemingway.
Yeah, some Fuente
That's not
Hemingways.
bad.
No,
Not
those are
bad.
good cigars. The Maduros are very good.
Those are, but I'm sorry, Nat Shermans are not great.
Yeah, Nat Shermans. It was a mishmash of other random stuff, and there weren't any Padrones, for sure. There weren't any Davidoffs. There weren't any, good Fuentes. So I guess my
True
point is that
tobacconist.
I guess my a couple of my fathers in there, which I did smoke one of those I did not enjoy, but I know. Did you say you like some of those, Grinder?
My father?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know which one I had.
Well, that'll knock your socks off.
The Judge.
The Judge is good.
Yeah, I like that.
They make La Flor de la Antilles. Is that my father?
Flor de las Antillas.
Yeah. That's a good stick.
That's a good budget stick.
Yeah.
This better not be Rocky Patel, though. I can tell you that. All right.
Do you guys want to go around?
Are you guys ready to give it the formal lizard rating?
I think so.
I'm ready. I'll go last.
Brewster, you're up.
I'll go first.
So let's give a rating and then let's guess.
Okay, Rooster, what is it?
I'd give it a 6.
Is it because you think it's a Rocky Patel?
No. I think the beginning I would have given it a 7. It started off like really great, but it's a 6.
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to give it a 6. Bam.
I'm at a 7 because I am enjoying this cigar. It does go back and forth. It's minerally now for me, which I like.
I would probably give it a 5 or a 6.
Oh.
For here, I'd probably get a 6.
Whoa.
Okay.
How nice of you to share a cigar you would rate a 5.
I
know.
never had the cigar. I never had the cigar.
Senator, how
I never
true.
had it.
Now, before we start guessing, the one thing I will say, and we talk about this sometimes, about the dollar of this. You said this is a $14 stick.
Yeah.
So that's where, some of these cigars that
I know where you're going with this.
they price at that point. It's like, I don't want to judge it on the dollar value, and I didn't. I judged it on how, the smoke that I'm having tonight with you guys, but I don't think I would ever buy this cigar again for $14.
So here's, and I think we should all go around why we gave the ratings now that we've given them. But the reason I gave this a 6, when it started, I thought I would give this a 7 because it started smooth. There was a nice sweetness to it. The second half of this cigar for me picked up a little too aggressively in strength. There's no complexity to this cigar to me. It's very one note. And in the second half, I'm not even able to pull out those notes like I could in the first half. So I just feel like the second half is too muddled and too strong for my liking to give this anything higher than a 6.
I think it's a 7. To me, the first third was very good, and I think the last third here, I'm enjoying. The middle third to me was not great. but I'm sticking by my 7 for sure. I think that this is I definitely think this is a 7. However, again, at that price point, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I think I wish we had not known the price point, because
I didn't judge it on that,
Then you
though.
kind of start comparing with like other $14
Yeah.
sticks. You're like, wait a minute, I could have the Padron Exclusivo for the same price,
Right,
and that was that was
no-brainer.
like a 10.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
Bam, you said you gave it a 7. Why
Yeah.
7?
I didn't. I piggybacked behind all of you regarding the first third. It's delicious. I thought smooth. The middle did get flat, but I'm enjoying the mineral quality of the last third. I happen to like that from time to time. Tonight I like it.
Grinder, if you have a box, Bam will buy them off
I don't have a box.
for $20 a stick.
$5 a stick.
So I gave it a 6 because it's a good smoke. The construction is great. It's well made. Smoke output is phenomenal.
You gave it a 5.
No, I said 5 or 6. I'll give it a 6. For me, it's just the flavor profile. It's not something that it's not something I enjoy that much. It's good. It's not great.
Do we
It's not a
so
7.
do we have a score?
We do have a
So
score.
three 6s and 2 7s.
So the composite lizard score is a 6.4.
Okay.
I think that's a fair score for this.
Yeah,
stick.
I think that's All right, let's do brand.
Rooster.
I don't know. I'm like all over the place with this.
I hope it's a
Aren't
Rocky
we
Patel.
all?
I hope it's a Rocky Patel. I swear. I
have
hope
no
it is.
idea.
I just want to see his face when you say Rocky Patel.
I'm leaving. I gotta leave. Rocky Patel's coming over my house.
Yeah, it's gonna hunt you down like you hunt those cigars.
Rocky Patel and Indian tobacco.
So what do you think it is? What's your guess?
I have no idea. If I had a guess, I don't know. I said it could be a foundation brand.
Okay.
I mean, I have no idea which stick out of foundation. I don't know that whole market really well, so I'll just say maybe it's a foundation.
I'm gonna stick by my guns and say Tatuaje.
I'm in the same camp, Gizmo. I would say Tatuaje.
La Flor Dominicana.
Ooh.
So do you want to know?
No.
Did any of us get it right?
Well, Grinder, why don't you guess?
No one got it right.
Oh man.
Wow.
But someone almost
Just
got
give
it
me
right.
the first letter of the
someone
market.
almost got it right when
First
they
letter.
called it out on the first draw.
Oh.
It is an Avo.
Oh, Senator.
Senator with the Avo at the first draw.
Avo, this?
I was close.
Nice job,
close.
Senator.
I was
You were
close.
So this is a recent release, Avo Synchro Caribe Toro.
Wow.
And 6x52 Toro,
Wow.
Dominican Habano wrapper.
Well done, Senator.
Colorado Maduro is the color, so it's kind of darker, right? But it is that Colorado wrapper, and it is have that Maduro, age. And you guys weren't far from Maduro, right? Binder and filler, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua. Obviously, if it's an Avo, it's got great construction because it's made by Davidoff, right? So you got that perfect construction, basically. And it's got, to me, it's got pretty. There's a hint of the DR flavor profile, but it's very different for me, and I think that's because of the balance of Ecuadorian and some Nicaraguan in there that kind of elevates it to a different flavor profile. But yeah, I mean it's not bad. It's okay.
You're disqualified for bringing in a recent release that we wouldn't know.
Came out in August.
I'll be honest. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised it's an Avo.
Avo. Yeah, it doesn't look like any other Avo.
I'll tell you
Honestly,
though.
I think you guys haven't seen enough of their line.
Maybe you're right,
I mean,
yeah.
that lounge that we used to be members of, they saw a lot of Davidoff, Avo, Camacho because it's all owned by Davidoff. And I've just always been surprised at how many cigars Avo makes. I would just always see new limited this, new limited that, none of which I've tried that has been particularly good. I think I've tried 2 Avos, one that was recommended by this tobacconist that we'll put in air quotes for listeners that I thought was terrible, and another Avo that Grinder had given me once that wasn't bad, just not my ideal flavor profile. So that's kind of where I think some of this.
And I think if you become a Davidoff dealer, they make you buy the whole line. You have to carry Camacho, you have to carry Avo, and the entire Davidoff line.
You know what I wonder with Ferio Tego coming out soon? That's obviously
So
that's
out.
obviously a Davidoff distributed brand. I wonder if that's going to fall into the same category for these
Well,
dealers.
it's distributed by them. It's not really their brand. So
you just sent me a different price point on this.
I did.
Yeah. So
I
it's
did.
not a $14 stick. I looked at a different site then, because I got this as a 5-pack with a box of domains. You called the fucking senator, called it again, from Atlantic.
Okay, so the price I found when I just Googled this, as we're wrapping up here, is closer to $10 online.
1070.
Yeah, 1070. So you're going to
It's
pay
more like-
between, with tax, you're going to pay between that 10 and.
Well, that's from that place. Or you paid more.
I didn't pay. It was
a gift.
yeah.
Got it.
Nice.
Well, I will say the one thing. I mean, we've talked about that Millennium Toro before, and the burn on that, and the construction. This, I think, for a Toro from Davidoff in an Avo line, this burns way better than that Millennium Toro.
I agree. I mean, if there's one thing I think every one of us agreed on, the construction of this was very good.
Yes.
The combustion was great.
Yes.
The burn was razor sharp, white ash. For me, just the flavor was the issue, but it's a well-made cigar.
It is.
Bam's already into our second stick. We haven't even ended the pod yet.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
Like a
Bruce is
true
like, oh
lizard.
shit.
Like a true lizard.
He's already moved on to the.
I have-
Leanders.
So a couple of reasons why I wanted to do this is because, one, you guys, like I said before at the onset, you shit on some of the cigars I come to the lounge with, and I wanted to
What are
see.
you talking about?
I wanted to see to perfect example was Giz being like, I'm glad I didn't see that. I think that it speaks volumes to how you perceive cigars. Having the band on
Totally.
it immediately colors your perspective in a way. So
Yeah, but I'll make a point. Even if the band was on it, we would have still given it the same rating.
would you?
Yeah.
I think I'll say this. I think because it's Avo, I agree. But I think some other brands, I don't know. I think my eye bias would have given it a lower score if it was a brand that I
we
inherently
rated the
don't go
stick
for.
fairly. We smoked it.
We did,
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, I don't think any of us smoke Avos really, except
Never.
grinders.
But
So
I've
I
had-
think that
I've
would
had
have been a
quite a
bias
few-
against it. I still probably would have given it a 6, but I would have definitely started this with a very negative impression because I'm just not an Avo fan.
Right.
So I am glad we did this blinded.
Yeah.
All right, boys. A 6.4 for the blind test Avo Synchro Caribe, I guess it's called. The
Caribe.
Caribe.
So what does that mean for the listener? The
Caribbean.
6.4?
I would call that a soft recommend. It's kind of on the border of recommend and pass to me.
To a lizard, I wouldn't recommend it. To your guest that you come by, yeah, sure.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's a soft recommend for the guest humidor.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
there you go.
This
Perfect way
belongs
to
in the
put it.
guest humidor,
Yes.
not in the lizard tower.
The
That's
guest
right.
shelf, the Lucy's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no guest shelf. It's a guest humidor.
My new rating is a 5, by the way. I'm down at
I don't
5.
have that many guest cigars.
All right, boys. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.